What's up? What's up? What's up? We have so much to talk about here on the USL show. I am so pumped to be back from yesterday. US Open Cup, W League, Championship, League One. We got all the things. I do want to start off on a bit of a solemn note, but I figured we'd start off with it. If you haven't seen it on our Twitter account recently, I'm about to retweet it right now. But look at if you haven't seen the news out of FC Motown, they just went on to the second round of the US Open Cup out of really strange circumstances, but that's not really why we're talking about it. One of their players, St. Clair, was in a car accident. And at last update, he is still in critical condition. But they have the USL community has raised over $20,000 for his family, and we want to try to see that number go up even higher. So, at the very least, retweet what we just tweeted out, or retweet what we just posted from their Twitter account. Or if you have the means, please consider donating. But past that, we have a ton of Open Cup news. We have a ton of things to talk about. Let's go ahead and jump into it. But first, how's everybody doing? Phil, you doing okay, pal?
I'm doing fine. You know, guys, I'm excited to talk now that preseason's over and the USL season's about to start. I'm just really excited to talk about some real games. You know, like it's not been great results-wise in preseason for Locomotive, but like you can see the promises there. So I'm just really looking forward to, you know, talking about some previewing some real matches, you know, as we get into the true regular season.
It's okay. We all live in a state of denial for a while.
Yeah.
Gio, someone else who's probably living in a state of denial at the moment. How you doing, my man?
I'm okay, man. That was a tough game over the weekend. I had the flu last week, so I had to miss it. So I was sad. I blame myself for the loss and myself only, because we've never lost a home opener of a game. I've been there, so I've been down about it. But we're gonna upset Oakland on Thursday, so all that is gonna be different.
Alan, you got a first win in our USL Show Cup Derby thing. I don't know. Alan, you doing okay, man?
Who'd they beat?
I think it was like a League One team. It was all preseason.
Okay. We don't need to get.
To be fair, I was talking with our captain Charlie Adams after the match. He said, "Man, I think El Paso might be like one of the best 0-4 teams I've seen in a while." He goes, "You mean better than us last year?" And I was like, "Wait, what? Loyal went 0-4 at the beginning last year? No one was talking about that. That was not a thing anyone talked about. So I don't know what he was talking about." I'm doing all right. I have a little bone to pick with the Total Soccer Show. I was listening to one of their programs today, and I was very disturbed. Their intro music, so they have the 4 clicks at like 153 beats a minute, and then the song starts, and it's like 140, and then over the course of the song, it slows down to like 134. Like, what kind of ship are you running over there, Total Soccer Show? Pick a tempo and freaking stick to it. Like, this intro music stuff has got like click, 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 and it's like, come on, guys. Like,
your DCI is showing.
I pulled out a metronome on CPH. Do not listen to this. I pulled out a metronome on the freeway and was like, I am checking this because this is like driving me nuts. I listened to their intro music like 20 times with a metronome playing. We got to help the guys out, right? Like, maybe just re-record the clicks at 140. Like, there's a way to do this. It just makes the whole thing, like, agitates me. And then I have to listen to you guys talk about U.S. men's national team players. I'm like, I want to be positive going into that, not aggravated.
Should we, the USL Show, donate a Dr. Beat to the Total Soccer Show?
We should.
Call out TSS. You heard it here. we got intro beef with you.
My DMs are open.
Just tweet at him right now.
I'm tweeting right now. Ryan, how you doing, my man?
I'm doing okay. Happy to have a lot of USL and everything. And I do at least want to send a thank you to your Crystal Palace for a fantastic weekend over the break. And Phil, at least you have Liverpool to keep your spirits up.
That's what I'm clinging to that at the moment. So
Don't jinx it.
I'm trying to say, what do we think? The U.S. In case you missed it, the USL show stands behind Alan Underwood as we go to war against the Total Soccer Show in a fight for equal beats.
Two people get it, and that's all that matters.
Oh man. So a little bit of news I want to talk about first. The W League, they announced their playoff format. It's going to be the winners of the 7 divisions get an automatic bid into the playoffs. There are 8 playoff spots. So the at-large spot is a wild card between the Metropolitan and the Atlantic. I think I'm going off the top of my head. Basically the 2 biggest divisions in League One, and basically whoever has the best record out of those 2 teams, out of the next best of the rest, gets into the playoffs there. So 18 playoffs, which should be pretty exciting. Super stoked for the W League to finally start. Several girls, or a couple girls from Alabama are out there, and so very happy for them, very excited for them. I mean, there is a lot of quality out there, and super stoked about seeing that getting played. I want to talk a little bit of Open Cup before we dive into what was League One and the championship. Early on, I kind of want to start off with Phil. And talking about this Indy 11 match. Now, I understand that St. Louis is essentially just an MLS team because their 2 team is the MLS team right now. But, I mean, I'm a little bit shocked at how bad this is. Can we blame Lowry, or is this just squad construction and he's just going to have to clean it up?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this exit to, I don't think we really know necessarily what St. Louis City 2 is, to be fair, but they've got some talented players. I mean, Juan Kuzain like jumps off the score sheet, scored the second for St. Louis City, and you know, he's a veteran of the USL ranks, and MLS as well. I think, despite still being pretty young. But anyways, I don't know if it's necessarily like a blame Lowry thing. Lowry, like, I mean, my experience and you know, connection with Lowry in the Open Cup is he lost 3-0 to Forward Madison at home in the inaugural season for both Locomotive and Forward Madison. So his record's not great in the Cup, and I think with the way things have been going at Indy, I think he'll definitely have prioritized the league in terms of getting the form back. So yeah, I don't think we can read like too much into this, to be honest.
Fair enough. I mean, it's definitely been interesting to watch this Indy side, and this is, I guess, an early I told you so moment. It's I'm sorry if you're listening to the podcast version of this. Andy's bullying Alan. But I mean, there's definitely I told you so. This Indy team is just not good enough. And I wanted to believe in Mark Lowry, but this team is just not great. Some other stuff. League One has entered the chat when it comes to the US Open Cup. Is this the first time League One has played in the Open Cup, or is this the second?
Second time.
2019, yeah.
So, Gio, you're getting to see some teams that you've played before, that you've seen before, and some teams that you've never seen play before now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, what's kind of the ones that you've been keeping your eye on?
I'm actually watching Des Moines play Omaha right now, and they're not playing that bad. And we talked earlier before the show. They have Corey Herzog playing, which is a name in USL. And I remember those days. But they're holding their own against Omaha. They're tied 1-1 right now, currently, in about the 55th minute. But Charlotte Independence lost to North Carolina Fusion a little while ago. Independence was actually looking decent. You know, they have some players who have played in the top division in Colombia. They have Miguel Ibarra, or yeah, or yeah, and so he is an ex-US men's national team star for some friendlies. So they were kind of surprising now that they're getting together with Charlotte FC, getting some of their players loaned down. So a lot of people were kind of curious what that was going to be like, and then they lose. So it's kind of laughable at this point in my eyes, the shambles of a club that they're in. Uh, but I'm super excited for a lot of these games. I think we can. Maybe upset a few championship teams. I think it'll be a lot of fun to see some of those matchups. Fuego unfortunately beat Greenville at home over the weekend, and they're playing later tonight. And so I'm excited to see what they've got against a championship team on a little bit short rest. And then you have Greenville and Oakland. I rate Oakland. You know, they play decently against Tampa Bay Rowdies. They're not starting off so hot, but you know, coming to Greenville on a short week also won't be easy for them. As you know, I don't know. They'll probably be moving their squad a lot, and we won't have a game this weekend, so we'll go all out and try to get that win. So this Open Cup is exciting. I had a lot of fun 2019 watching Greenville play. We beat Tormenta, even though they were talking crap earlier. Uh, Bolt Ibis was chatting a little bit too much, but you know, I put him in his place. They might have beaten us the last 3 times. Tormenta may have beaten us the last 3 times, but we have 3 finals. They have no playoff appearances. But they play Charleston Battery. So that'll be a fun matchup also. So the Open Cup is exciting. I'm having a lot of fun following all these games.
Bolt, if you're listening to this, Gio's words, we do not support Gio's words. We love you, Bolt, please.
Oh, I love him too. My exact words were we have 3 finals appearances. And how many playoff appearances do you guys have? You guys have a nice kit and a nice bird at least.
Yeah. I do want to talk a little bit about this Independence news, and I want to throw it over to Mr. Ryan himself, who is our residential Charlotte FC fan. Does Charlotte even have like enough players to loan?
They do have at least players within the academy, and I think they've used Charlotte FC as just kind of like a holding club for a few of their players. For instance, at Armour and Fuchs were 2 of the main players who actually played for Charlotte Independence last season in the lead up to the MLS side. But that's more of just an affiliation deal until they get MLS Next figured out for next season. Obviously, it makes sense just kind of logistically to have a player nearby, and it's just a continuation of that partnership. But yeah, this is the 3rd U.S. Open Cup in a row that Charlotte Independence has exited the cup in the 2nd round, and it's just a competition that's never really been a knack for their success. Like even in the ones previous, I think they've made it no further than the 3rd or 4th round.
Man, there's a lot there for Independence, I guess, to talk about, but like how many of those are good things? I don't know. By the way, if you're not watching this Des Moines Union Omaha or Des Moines keeper just made what could be one of the saves of the competition. That was a surefire goal that he just stopped. That was ridiculous. Yeah, I want to go a little bit farther into the Open Cup talk. We've seen Fuego now, and they shocked a lot of people. And They are taking, just to make sure, because I don't have it pulled up in front of me. They are taking on El Paso, correct?
Yep.
Easy win. I mean,
Okay.
for El Paso,
We get it. We suck. Okay.
I will say though, Fuego played quite possibly their best match ever in club history.
They
point.
did. So you should be. They are in form.
Yeah, form of their entire existence.
Of their life.
Yeah.
Fuego died for this.
I will say, like looking at the stats of that Fuego game against Greenville, and we talked about this on Seriously Loco. I think like the reality is I don't love it because it's exactly the blueprint to play El Paso too. Like try to hit them on the break, have less of the ball, soak up pressure. And I don't love that they executed it against a good Greenville team. Like that tells me that they have it kind of down. And I'm not thrilled about facing off against a team that is going to play that like well-organized, counterattacking, like that sort of game. I think, I mean, just based on the stats and some of the things I saw around the Greenville game, I think Greenville are a little unlucky, like to not get something out of it because shot creation, all that stuff. All that being said, I don't think this is a walkover for Locomotive by any stretch, and I think they'll be desperate to get a win too. So I'm really interested to see what the team is that gets named because we've got Monterey Bay, which should be another like what is a winnable game now becomes kind of a must win, and so I think they've got 2 games in a row now for Locomotive where they have to get something out of this to kickstart their season.
That's kind of how Legion feel a bit right now too. I mean, 2 points in 4 matches is a little bit better than El Paso, but I think for a lot of 2 whole points better, exponentially, infinitely better. But I mean, it's still one of those things that Legion feels like they're in the same way. One final comment before we go on to just kind of like our I told you so's and biggest shocks. Christian Chaney, what a freak of a striker. It wasn't even just his finishing. His finishing was good. His ability to get into space was good. But something that's not going to get talked a lot about is his defensive work was ridiculous. His ability to win duels was great. He was making just inch perfect tackles the entire match. And maybe this is not 1-for-1. And John, if you're listening to this right now, he's probably going to cringe because I'm probably wrong. But he definitely feels like the Brian Ownby of League One, where defensively sound, an absolute pest on the ball. Just, all around player. You know what I mean? Chaney was ridiculous. And I don't think that this was a Greenville problem. I think he's going to be a nightmare for everybody in the league.
I love to see this mix of like NISA guys and championship guys like finding this kind of like home in League One. I think it really it also gives us kind of this like new avenue to look at these guys. And Chaney with LA Force last year and already with a brace in his debut in League One. So yeah, I think getting these guys into kind of a more visible league in League One is just a cool opportunity for a lot of these players.
Yeah, he was a menace the whole game. He was just tracking back. Their whole team, they play for each other. They were throwing themselves on the ground. They were getting the stretcher for each other. I mean, but no, it's all seriousness. They play well. Bijev, he's a dangerous player. He was playing on the wing, which I thought he was going to be more of a striker. But Valverde barely played, and was one of those top signings. So they have a lot of untapped potential. I think Fuego could really make a run, especially once they start playing some home games. Today's game is a home game, I believe.
It is.
Also against El Paso. Mm-hmm. So that'll be a fun game to watch. I don't think it'll be easy for either side, but that says a lot. It'll be fun.
So let's go ahead and move into our biggest shocks and biggest I told you so's. We're just going to do them both back to back. We're going to start with you, Ryan.
I would say what I found interesting from this week was we actually had 3 games in our predictors where only one of us picked that correct result. That was Gio with picking a draw out of Detroit, Memphis. John later had Fuego as the only one picked over Greenville. And for my I Told You So, I was the only one who picked Phoenix to get a victory on the road at San Antonio. That was very much a bounce back win that Phoenix really needs to pick up a result, and that's against a very solid San Antonio team here. But that was just a crucial result, and Phoenix looks good and got the result. And I'd say the one that was a little bit concerning was Tampa Bay was outplayed by Oakland, and they both walked away with a point shared, but it was a concern how like Tampa Bay only held on to that result though.
Speaking of, Tampa Bay just got that 6-0 win over the Villages. So that just went
Buffalo.
final. Did I see that right? That the Villages keeper is a high schooler?
Probably.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's awesome, but that's ridiculous. All right, Alan. Biggest I Told You So's and biggest shockers.
The shock is like the amount of draws and who is drawing each other was quite baffling to me. Like, this is what makes early goal predictions or early game predictions so difficult, right? And then you throw in some like random red card, and then all of a sudden you get like a Lou City drawing 0-0 to Legion. Pittsburgh hasn't won an away match that didn't involve a red card. My biggest surprise is just like teams or games that you think are going to go one way, they just surprise you and say, no, we are not doing that, sir. My biggest I Told You So isn't for anyone here. It's when I walked into San Diego and I said, this is going to be a tough game. This is going to be a good game. And people were like, oh, no, 0-4. I was like, no. This is going to be a great game. And it was a phenomenal game. Like, highs and lows. I think both supporters felt like they deserved something out of it. There were some great moments of defending. There was some great offensive moments. I think it showed El Paso's quality, especially in the second half. Like, the I Told You So was this game was going to be more interesting than I think a lot of people thought on paper. And Landon Donovan after the match sung high praises of both Luna and the team in general. He said El Paso is going to make the playoffs. So he had a lot of respect for what they were doing on the pitch. El Paso again wins the XG game. And I really thought that El Paso was going to get something out of it toward the end. But I think San Diego, this shows the growth in San Diego, where last year this would have been a 2-1 loss or a 2-2 draw. Like, that second goal would have brought them even. But they're just getting more goals out of people at home than they've ever done consistently. So I was really kind of blown away with El Paso's play, especially in the second half. And so I echo Phil's hopefulness for El Paso going forward, and happy that we caught them when they haven't quite figured it out yet. Because I think once El Paso figures it out, they're going to be a tough out, and they're going to be fine. If you need some love, Phil, like I said, San Diego went 0-4 last year too. So I've been through it already. So that was kind of my Told You So, and more toward the people who told me that this was going to be an easy walkover game because El Paso's 0-4. And then I reminded them El Paso last year was the first time they haven't made a Western Conference Finals. So they still have the talent. Yeah, you lose your coach, but the players are still there. So that was my I Told You So.
Thanks, man.
Gio, you had to miss last week because of that Monday night short show was kind of your flu game, man.
Took everything out of me.
104-degree fever, and you persevered for some dumb reason.
For you guys, for the love of the game and love of League One.
Of course. I guess kind of what was your shock and I Told You So, even though you weren't really around to make a prediction?
Yeah. I think Richmond putting up 4 goals on Tucson really surprised me. I had a feeling they would win, or I really thought they were going to draw. I didn't know how good Richmond was going to be this season, but putting up 4 really surprised me. Greenville losing was definitely heartbreaking, but it wasn't the biggest shocker. I knew we would have some struggles with the different team that we have now, and Fuego coming in and something to prove in their first game. So I thought if we lost, it might have been 1-0. I was just disappointed we couldn't get a goal. I think we were unlucky there. Um, North Carolina FC beating Tormenta at home. Tormenta has a new look. North Carolina FC is coming off of winning the Wooden Spoon. Going from just playing a bunch of academy kids to competing against, a team that has a player from Tottenham on their team. It was pretty exciting. um, Someone who shared the field with Harry Kane and whatnot. But that was an exciting game to watch, though. I mean, they definitely lost the XG battle there, but they took their one chance and they held on strong. Um, I The Madison Chattanooga game also was really exciting. I watched a good bit of that one, and I went back and watched the end when I saw Madison tied. A lot of people were, thinking that they were going to lose pretty handily because Chattanooga is a good team at home. And they scored early, which is something they don't usually do. They usually like to keep those for late winners. But Madison played, the spoiler and got a late goal, and they look like an exciting team. So this season in League One is going to be really fun all around. I think it's going to be super competitive, and there's going to be some exciting games all season.
I guess most shocking thing was that Chattanooga Red Wolves were allowed to play a match at night. That was quite a shocker. Phil, shocker and told you so.
Yeah, I think. Well, I got to give a shout out to Andy for talking about the non-pen call as the biggest shock in the Locomotive game, because Emmanuel Sanupe gets absolutely wiped out in the box and gets nothing for it. Well, free kick and a booking, rightfully so, but it happened clearly in the box, and the AR just has to do better. But I'm not here to talk about refereeing decisions. But yeah, I think I would just echo Ryan in saying that the biggest shock for me is Tampa Bay, like being that flat, like not just the fact that they drew 0-0, that that can happen to anybody, but them going to Oakland and getting that outplayed was really shocking. Told you so. I mean, I know I wasn't the only one who picked Lights to beat Battery, but I did want to give some love, give some flowers to Danny Trejo, because his start to the season has been absolutely unbelievable. I think he's got 5 goals now. He once again showed up. I don't think Battery, having now seen them play in person and on TV a couple times, I'm not really seeing it yet from Battery. I don't think they're that good of a squad. I'm a little worried about them overall. But I don't think we could go this show without just giving some love Danny Trejo's way, because he's just been absolutely unbelievable to start the season.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a bit of a I told you so on the behalf of John. I mean, he put out his, young players of the year, and Danny Trejo was one of the first ones he put out there, and everybody was like, but Light's bad. And he was like, yeah, but Trejo good. And once again, I'm reminding everybody that Cal Jennings might be one of the best strikers in the league. Why LAFC does not have him at least up there or sold him, it doesn't make sense. He's too good to be in Las Vegas.
He almost single-handedly won some games for Vegas last year. Like, yeah, there were some moments, or at least try to get them some points, because there were some moments where like there was, I think, a San Diego game where it was like San Diego survived by the skin of their teeth, but the only reason it was close is because of Cal Jennings.
I mean, he single-handedly won an area code match after match his first year. I think he was their leading scorer after only being in the team for 7 matches. And then area code let him walk for a free. Indy 11 sign him and sell him to Las Vegas or to LAFC a month later. That was one of the most ridiculous timelines.
I do have one other big shock before you go, Kaylor, and I hate to cut you off, but my other big shock is FC Tulsa admin giving props to Alan, despite him being one of the few people from
It
this
was
podcast that
sarcastic. It was
that didn't-
sarcasm.
that
It
didn't
had to have
pick
been
that
sarcasm.
to win. I was laughing. I was just that
It was good,
that
though.
killed me. How dare
It
you,
was-
FC Tulsa? Friendship
It was-
ended with FC Tulsa.
It was like a thanks Obama, thanks Alan, I think.
It very much was.
And boy, do I have a surprise for them today.
I mean, come on. That was just okay. I was getting really excited because, as most people realize, I'm the admin of the USL show. When I saw Red Bulls,
What?
yeah, I know.
Admin
When-
reveal.
Big shock.
That's like
When-
the mascot taking the head off, and you see who the come on.
Whoa.
All the
That's right.
magic and mystery is
Seeing
gone.
Mickey
now.
Mouse without
sorry to pull the curtain back too much, but when I
Deception.
saw the second minute red card, and then 15 minutes later, Tulsa was down. I had my Twitter fingers ready of just sending them like just a message and being like, and just sending them the same exact tweet that they sent us back, and then they end up winning because of freaking JJ Williams. Because of course it was JJ Williams. Why wouldn't it be him? God, I love you, you big beautiful man. God, I miss you. That dude. Why he wasn't like a linebacker at Kentucky, I don't know. Dude is a freak of nature, and I miss him. My biggest "I told you so" was actually Richmond. I thought that they were just a much better team, and I said it. He's not going to win it because he's a right back, but my vote for I guess would it be like newcomer of the year or MVP? Stephen Payne. What an absolute freak, and he is going to be the reason they win a lot of matches this year. And that's an early "I told you so" on his behalf because he came out and showed out. My biggest shock. This one is not a result, but I just need to get this one off my chest. It has to be Romero. Is it Parks? Romero Parks for Miami, the trademark Miami FC. You're down 2 goals. You get a goal back in the 77th minute. Instead of grabbing the ball out of the goal to try to gain the momentum, you do a backflip and celebrate and waste time doing backflips. I don't. Miami is a team that's supposed to be, on paper, one of the top 3 teams in the East so far. They have 4 points, which I get glass houses with the Legion. But this is one of those things of your team was gaining momentum in that match, and you lost it all by doing a little bit of acrobatics. And I don't know if anybody has talked to him about it. I don't know if anybody's going to. But that was just mind-numbing to me of why wouldn't you try to build on that momentum?
Because maybe he was hoping the backflip would flip his team into the lead.
No.
Against switchbacks, I'm pretty sure half the team for switchbacks can do backflips. In fact, one of them definitely did a backflip against Legion after he scored their second goal. Even
to be
Was that
fair, I think switchbacks have given up 2 goals. So to score against the switchbacks might be the greatest accomplishment a player can receive this year when playing them at this point.
Another reminder that Jeff Caldwell might be the best goalkeeper in the league. I know his backline's been great, but Jesus Christ, Jeff Caldwell, what a freak of nature.
Brew agrees. Brew's a big keeper fan. Anytime someone hypes up keepers, he just goes nuts like this every time.
I'll quiet him down real quick. Evan Newton. I'm kidding. I'm obviously kidding.
It worked.
Boo. I'm booing Phil, by the way. Not
Silent.
just
Silent.
No. Just need to make that one clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know this is super early on, but would we want to go ahead and get into some predictions, or because this is a lot earlier than we normally do. As much as I really want to talk about, one Agudelo signing for Legion, there I got off my chest. I can go to bed happy now.
We had to shave some minutes off of all of the rest of the podcast to make up for the short show from last week. So I think it's like we're gonna balance it out eventually.
Eventually,
We're banking minutes now.
Eventually, the short show is going to be a 5-minute show, and it's going to be like, "Hey guys, soccer happened. Thank you," and then it cuts to Alan.
I'll do a short show. If we beat Omaha, I will do a short show, quick, just 2-minute show, just 2 minutes. Mic drop, and that's it.
You get on, boom, and then just
That's
cut to
it.
Alan.
Yeah, I'll have the stupid belt over my shoulder and everything.
All right, let's go ahead and hop into some predictions. This week we included some U.S. Open Cup. We did not including the matches tonight. Some of them were still going on, and then decided to go for the ones on Wednesday and Thursday. So we're going to start with the 3 U.S. Open Cup matches, and then we'll get into the league matches. We're going to start with Ryan, and it's going to be North Carolina versus Rio Grande.
I think RGV gets a result here. I know the travel is probably going to be really difficult for RGV to go to Cary and then have to make the return leg back home to host Indy 11 later this weekend. But I just still think that they're a bit more talented than NCFC is this weekend, or than NCFC is. So I back RGV to win.
Alan?
Yeah, I went with RGV as well. I don't feel necessarily great about any of these Open Cup matchups. My kids were like, "What's wrong with you?" I'm like, I'm predicting scores for the Open or games for the Open Cup, and they're like, "Oh, okay." They didn't know what I was talking about. Yeah, I went with RGV. I think they're gonna be fine. But who knows? Weirder things have happened, right?
Guess so. We've seen a couple weird things already tonight as Ryan looks into the eyes of God. Gio.
I went with RGV also. I don't think North Carolina can pull this big of an upset. I actually made this my lock also. I'm having a lot of faith in championship team here. So if I've learned anything, I just hope that I learned that North Carolina is not very good, and RGV can at least beat them. So.
I've got RGV as well, and I think it just comes down to RGV is a better squad, and they'll get it done.
I went with the North Carolina here. Never underestimate the magic of the cup. And also, if there's one thing that can equalize, is the great equalizer in any of these cup matches. We've seen it all the time. It's a great goalkeeper, and you're not going to find many goalkeepers better in America right now than Nick Holiday.
He didn't play. Pulisic played the other day, so I don't know.
Did he really?
He started.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
if he does start, that's a great equalizer right there because Holiday is ridiculous. So that one's my cup set. I think that's my major cup set. Next up, we got Battery versus Tormenta.
I still think that Charleston has to get it figured out at some point. I keep beating this drum every week saying that it can't get this bad. It can't keep spiraling for the club. So my hope is that they just grind out a result here, whether it's pretty or not. But it would not surprise me if they would struggle in this one and it would be a fluke goal or a PK defeat. But Charleston wins.
This was like a coin flip to me. I think Tormenta can do enough to get something out of this. Like they might even force PKs and not win, but advance on PKs. Which we'll have to figure out how we're going to score that. Is that if you pick them to win and they advance on PKs, you don't get a point because it's not a win? I don't know.
I'd say win is a win.
These are picking outcomes.
Yeah,
It's not a win.
has
It's
to be a winner.
advancing on PKs.
If
I
you
will die
advance,
on this
that's a
hill.
win.
Because this is how we talk so much crap on Phoenix because they've won like one playoff game in the past 3 years because they've all been advancing on PKs because it goes down as a draw in the official rule and the official transcripts of the game. Anyway, off my soapbox again. I picked Charleston not because I felt great about it. Like it just felt like I'm choosing between like two kind of okay hamburger places. Like I'm gonna be happy either way with whatever team wins. Like Tormenta wins, great. I don't get murdered by a bird. Battery wins, like hey, maybe this like kicks off their season. So I went with Battery. I think they have enough talent to like sneak one, and get like a get a nice little counterattacking goal in there, and feel good about getting a win.
I think Tormenta's going to win. Pull up the cup set. I think Charleston doesn't. They haven't been looking great. They looked okay in preseason, but I think overall they're just not playing hot right now. Tormenta has nothing to lose. Might as well go for it. They want to beat a good team in South Carolina, the second or maybe third best team in South Carolina. Just go ahead and beat Charleston. I think it'll be a fun game. I think it'll be evenly matched. Tormenta played really good in preseason against Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is known to be a good team, that even though they didn't play well over the weekend. But I think they can pull something off. They'll go head to head. I don't think they'll play scared either. So it'll be a really good one. But I think Tormenta will pull off a win, whether it's a draw and go to PKs, or if they just outright beat them. It'll be good though.
Quick update. Omaha just scored, and San Antonio is a runner of fun, and we hate them officially. This is an anti-Harry podcast. And screw you, Omaha. I'd liked the one going on right now. It's okay. It's fine. It's Tuesday. Trademark. Oh, no, it's an own goal. Oh,
it is an own goal.
That's so unfortunate. That was a beautiful header, though. Phil, sorry to interrupt. I was just shocked.
Yo, I mean, I'm as the nation's largest defeaters fan, I'm devastated at the moment. Best like for the sheer name, like they deserve to make it as far as possible in the Open Cup, because an MLS team having to like put that on a brochure or a match day program or whatever is just like, that's the dream. Like D''feeders. Unbelievable. Anyways, I had Tormenta winning this one too, and Gio's gonna be upset with me on my picks because I didn't pick Greenville in the next one. So.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Whoa, spoilers, man. I picked Charleston here. I really just I don't believe in either team. Really, I Tormenta's good. I feel like they got unlucky, but then I don't know. This one is hard. This one might be the hardest one on this entire predictions, because one of them has the potential to be great. The other one could be great, but are just what's going on. It's so weird. That's the magic of the cup. Next up, Greenville versus Oakland.
I don't think any of us should label this really as a cup set. I think a lot of people are going into this game expecting Greenville to be at least slightly favored. With this result, Oakland has a very tough trip and having to make the cross-country journey for this one. Greenville has no game this week, so can truly go all out, although Oakland also is off for the weekend as well. So I think it'll be a very exciting and great game, but I'm backing the Triumph to win.
Yeah, I think if this was in Oakland, I would have probably picked Oakland, but this being in Greenville, I think it does give them an advantage that I think Greenville can use the momentum of their home fans to propel them to play probably at even a higher level. And, anytime you're playing a league up, you want to that's a big game, right? You want to prove that, like, as Greenville, that we're just not the best team in League One, but we're going to take out a playoff team that, was on it, like, top 4 in the Western Conference last year through the playoffs, right? Like final 4 of the Western Conference. So I think there's a lot to play for Greenville, and I think that being at home is really going to help them. So I picked Greenville as well.
I had to back my boys on this one. I think Oakland traveling all the way to Greenville is definitely an advantage to us. It's not an easy trip, a couple stops to get all the way from Oakland to here. And they left it all out on the field against Tampa Bay, gave it all they had to get a win, and they couldn't get it. So I'm sure they'll come in wanting to get a win in this. But with the travel, and I think, our team might have some a little bit fresher legs. We had our first game. It was disappointing, so I think we'll have a point to prove at home. We don't want to lose 2 games at home, and especially against an opponent like Oakland, who's pretty competitive. And I think they have a good team. They got some good players from Serie A and all over, and they have one of the best players in Charlie Dennis from USL League One from last season, who's playing really well. So I think we have a point to prove this week. And I don't think it would be considered a cup set, just because I think a lot of people rate Greenville. They know that they could beat any given team on a good day with some of the quality that we have, and with Harks being our coach leading our boys. So, but I see us pulling this one out, and it'll be a good start to our season going into a bye week.
I think no matter what, Greenville is going to have a slight lean, but I mean, it doesn't help that Oakland had the start that they did. I mean, the Rowdies match is one thing, but the rest of the matches have been bad. So I took Greenville in this too. By the way, Greenville kit drop.
Oh,
beautiful. I like it a lot. Next up, we have Tulsa, our favorite team, versus the Riverhounds.
So wait, hold on. I got to hear what Whitefield thinks that Oakland's going to beat Greenville.
Oh, I mean, I think they're coming off a good performance. I think they'll have some confidence coming into this one, and I think, I think they get it done. And besides, I needed to differentiate a little bit because I was picking the same as everybody else.
That's all you had to say. That's all you had to say.
I gotta find points somewhere. I'm dead last. I gotta scrape them where I can get them.
Unfortunate. There is an El Paso joke in there somewhere.
It's hey, the connection's there. I feel like my picks have been, I'm making them in good faith. I'm really like putting forth the effort. I'm doing the research. I'm watching the games, and I just have nothing to show for it. That's
What's the saying? Tom's a flat circle or whatever. Just take the Alan Underwood approach from last week and just whatever you're thinking, do the opposite.
Yeah.
All right. So going back to our Golden Birds of Tulsa, who I think are winning in their derby match, and the Riverhounds of Pittsburgh.
Tulsa are indeed winning in their match currently, but I picked Pittsburgh to win this one. I think Pittsburgh truly showed their form against a slightly better than most people would think Loudoun United team. I know we've been beating Loudoun United strong for a while, but Pittsburgh with a 2-0 win last week, I think shows that they're still one of the better teams of the conference. And just going into Tulsa, who had a 3-2 win over New York Red Bulls 2 this past weekend, and even with a lot of us picking them, I think Pittsburgh can just get the job done and get out of there with a win.
Tulsa is also losing that Open Cup match, but I am going to pick Tulsa, and they are my lock for the week.
Unbelievable.
That's it.
Are you happy, Tulsa? Are you happy?
They like it.
Thanks, admin. Look at what you've done to this show. Torn it apart from its very core.
I didn't go as far as locking them, but I did pick them. I just want them to say my name, tweet my name. Just thank you, Gio, at least for something positive, not not a sarcastic backhand. Thanks, Gio. You had our back last week, end this week. Send me a kid or something. I don't know.
So you're gonna see the logical movement of Allen picking Tulsa and making them the lock because they tweeted him. Gio's picking Tulsa to get tweeted by them. I am picking Pittsburgh and making them my lock because they didn't say anything to me. So that's so we've got the whole spectrum here of moral like responses.
It's the first time this season that we've had two people pick a certain game to be a lock, and it's opposing results against each other. And at least do the full spectrum of results, Sean had picked this game to be a draw.
I mean, if Phil's picking Pittsburgh, I feel pretty good about it.
Hey, to any team I'm not picking, you're welcome for the result this weekend. Like, you're welcome for winning.
To be fair, Phil is he's only in last place by 1 point behind me. So I mean,
Whatever.
This is gonna be ugly. This is gonna be a draw, and we're both.
It's a draw. You both win, though.
Thanks, Phil.
I love it.
I picked Tulsa.
Go Hounds.
I picked Tulsa not because of the admin. Honestly, One Oak is just a ridiculously hard place to play. And I think we have seen, Pittsburgh go away from home and, against Detroit City, get a draw. And I think that Tulsa is a better team right now than Detroit City. And going away from home, going to the baseball pitch, it's not as wide as they're used to playing. I think this is a result that Tulsa grinds out, and it's probably going to be JJ Williams again, you big, beautiful man.
I can't pick Pittsburgh. The Steel Army has bad takes. I can't have. I'll just leave it at that, but that's definitely a follow that will not be a follow much longer.
Woof. Next up is Tampa
There's
Bay.
a Riverhounds joke in that woof. So anyway.
Next up is Tampa Bay versus the.
I backed the Rowdies to get this one. It was interesting. If you look back at the season series last year, it was a split result, 2 wins from both sides. And it was basically you win the game that was at home. The Rowdies had lost both meetings and trips in Miami 2-1. That was in the middle of July over the course of a 2-week period. But I just think Tampa Bay, they're playing a lot better than what I think Miami's doing right now. And they always try and play up for these games. So I think they'll take a result here, and I'm making them my lock of the week.
Interesting.
I had a tough time with this one because I can see a world in which the Miami wins this match, or at least get something out of it. It's one of the timelines that exist. I just don't think we're on that timeline, so I'm picking Tampa Bay.
Fair enough. Gio?
not that Spider-Man timeline. I'm going with 10. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, man.
We got you.
I think I'm freezing over here.
It's fine.
I'm going with Tampa.
All right.
Just because. Just because. Tampa.
Oh, there he goes. Next up, man,
Yeah.
one prediction, he's out.
I think Tampa responds. And I think we haven't really seen the best of Miami yet, I don't think, but is a traveler from another dimension. But yeah, I think we see a response from Tampa Bay. I think Miami has played their best when they're already trailing for some reason. So I think Tampa Bay is getting the win here.
Over under a half a backflip happening in this match. Go.
Backflips per 90.
All right, I'm tweeting at John right now. So I took
BF
Tampa-
rate is off the charts.
I picked Tampa Bay here, which means the is winning. Those are just the rules. Yeah, until Miami does it, until they give me a reason to believe, I'm not going to. And that's because I've fallen for them for 2 years in a row. And I'm tired of being hurt. I'm tired of falling for your tricks, stupid fake Magic City. Next up is neither one of them are in the chat, so we can't have them fight. But it's the Harry Andy Derby. It is Orange County versus San Antonio.
I picked a draw for this one. I definitely could see either team getting a result here, but I think just a draw would probably seem like a pretty fair result. San Antonio coming off that aforementioned 2-0 defeat to Phoenix Rising last week. And then it's actually been a minute since Orange County had their last meeting or had their last game, which was the 1-1 draw with New Mexico. So I think that they can at least get a point off of this San Antonio team.
I was not convinced by San Antonio. I thought they were the least convincing team to start out hot. I know they're dealing with a lot of injuries. So right now their attack is not great, which against an Orange County who likes to defend is probably not going to be super successful. And I think Orange County, again, I think can nick a goal off of them and keep them. I see this as like a 1-0 game, and I picked Orange County. I think they can sneak a win here. You gotta put some respect on the star, right? I guess. I don't know. I just don't want Andy to be mad at me.
We're picking picks now just based off of salty tweets.
I just don't want to get cyberbullied anymore, guys. It's the worst.
I have no rhyme or reason why I picked San Antonio, other than I really hope I'm right and I get some points.
Fair enough.
I'm just trying to catch up to Kayla here. I've watched a couple of their games, but I haven't watched enough. It was just I didn't want to go for a draw, so I picked San Antonio.
Yeah, I've got San Antonio as well. I think they've found a way in their wins.
Gotta change it now.
And I think I think they find a way in this one. I think it's the same kind of deal though. I think they're going to grind it out. I could see that like 2-1 sort of result.
I'm sitting here and pulling back the curtain a little bit. We picked these beforehand and we're just kind of talking about it now. I really want to change my mind. I picked San Antonio and I want to pick Orange County. San Antonio's without their three, offensive, their three strikers, and Orange County still has a good defense. The more and more I'm sitting here, the more and more I'm talking myself into Orange County winning, which probably means I should still take San Antonio. No, I'm not taking it. My first instinct was right. Dang it. We're going San Antonio. I don't feel good about that one though. Next up is Rio Grande versus Indy.
I think this one's going to be a really interesting game just for which Rio Grande team is going to show up. It's going to depend a lot on what team we're going to see in the Open Cup this week. You could probably kind of guess what team just based off the lineups, but I think Rio Grande, and we've spoken a lot how often it is, just how difficult that is a place to go and get a result. And for Indy, who's already struggling to start this year, I think they're going to just struggle. They're going to continue to struggle if they make the trip to Texas. So I'll back Rio Grande Valley on this one.
I can see that argument. I think this is one that I was kind of stuck on a bunch today, but I really think RGV is gonna get a draw against Indy 11. I think Indy 11 could be good enough, but it's a tough place. I'm like, again, and I'm thinking 0-0, nothing super exciting, nothing super fun. I'm gonna pick a draw.
I, I know we picked before the Open Cup game, but after Indy losing, I feel even more confident about RGV winning. Uh, I just don't think Indy looks very good. I'm sorry to all my Indy friends, but um, a little bit that I've watched, I haven't been impressed at all. So I really don't think they're going to pull out a win or a draw in this case. RGV to win this one.
Yeah, I did make a genuine mistake in the pick. I'm going RGV, and it's simply based on history. Mark Lowry has never won. He's never gotten a point in Edinburgh. He's lost all 3 of his trips there with El Paso Locomotive, and I think they lose again.
Mm.
It's a good thing he's in Indy.
Is it? I say that. I really like the city of Indy. It's a really nice place. Should go sometime. Should be noted that this is John's lock of the week, which makes me afraid because what does he know? I took Rio Grande
A lot.
here. I don't know. I don't know why. I don't believe in Indy, but the thing is I should believe in them considering they looked really good against Lou City. And what is this St. Louis team? Are they a next team or are they just an MLS team? You know what I mean? We don't know. I'm still going Rio Grande because that place is just purgatory for all clubs. Next up is Loudoun, our champions, versus Louisville City.
I don't want to say that the hype train on Loudoun United is rest in peace March
Whoa.
12th through
Hey,
April 5th. But I do at least want to point out that despite all of that, we've had Loudoun in our picks for the past 2 weeks now. A lot of us have already picked against them these head-to-head games. We're already looking at kind of more the business end of their season, and I'm taking Louisville to win this game. But please know, Loudoun, that you're still within our heart of the people's champion.
People's champion. I'm picking Louisville. But I have a feeling like there's gonna be some really weird red card and it's gonna end up as a draw, and everyone's gonna hate themselves for picking Louisville. But I'm gonna stick with Louisville.
I mean,
I'm going with Louisville also. Loudoun's still going to win the whole thing, the whole shebang, some way or another. I said it, and I go by it. But I'm going with Louisville for this week. They get Loudoun will be the comeback kings, but not this week.
Yeah, Louisville just continues their strong start to the season, I think, with another win, and we saw that Loudoun is in fact human this past weekend. So I think Louisville compounds that.
as much as I don't want to pick against my chess piece boys. Lou City's legit. They're ridiculous. This is nothing against you, Loudoun. We love you. Please, admin, love us. Which we're all picking Louisville, which means Loudoun's going to win. So congratulations. Good job, Loudoun. Yeah, it's Lou City. Next up, oh gosh, I've lost it. We are going on to our League One, and where we have the Kit Boys versus Union Omaha, who won their Open Cup match via own goal.
I'll pick a draw with this one. I think we still haven't probably seen enough of either team, with Madison having the 1-1 draw at Chattanooga earlier this week and Omaha now having basically just 2 games of reference. But even with the midweek game coming up for Omaha in the Cup, hosting Cleveland SC, I think they'll use that momentum, but it's still going to be a fairly even game, so a draw.
I picked Union Omaha. because Connor Tobin doesn't play for Forward Madison anymore. So I think they lose that little bit of magic that they had in a player who comically refers to himself as third person. Not that he normally does. He just does it for his Twitter, which is amazing. If you're not following him, some loyal guys were talking. He's like, "Where do I know that name?" I'm like, "You guys don't know that name? Like, come on! Like, this is USL royalty almost with his work with the Players Association as well. A class guy. So now that he's gone, I think Fort Madison might not have that little extra spark. So I had to pick Union Omaha. Plus, we've had Union Omaha on the podcast. Or we haven't had Fort Madison yet. So Fort Madison, if you want me to pick you,
We can.
let's get you on it.
We can.
But do we want to?
It depends. We'll see. They say that I don't say enough nice things about him. The admin himself says it. Like when will the day come that Gio says something nice about Madison?
I do have
I think this might be the nicest thing.
I do have one of their old school keeper kits though. The pink flamingo one, like the OG one. I have it's in my closet.
Yeah. I'll never wear one of their kits, that's for sure. But I did pick a draw for this game. I don't think that this is the nicest thing I'll ever say. I think they looked decent the other day against Chattanooga at home, and so I think.
No, how did they play?
No, they did a thing. They scored a goal. They scored a goal, so I think that'll be enough against Omaha. Omaha didn't impress me today. Looking down at against the Menace, they had a lot of chances, but they didn't look scary. They didn't look, they really miss Evan Conway. They really miss Greg Hurst, and I think they'll continue to miss them. And I think Madison is going to be an improved team, and I think they'll at least I really was going to pick Madison to win, but I didn't want to go that far yet. But we'll go with the draw. We'll see what happens.
I did go that far, and I picked Madison to win it. I think we'll see what tomorrow night holds. I think Madison coming out of an Open Cup game a day later is a little bit of a disadvantage. But like you said, I think Omaha's it's a little bit questionable goal scoring. And do they have the firepower again this year? So yeah, I think Madison squeak one out.
I mean, what I saw out of Union Omaha tonight is not really an indictment against Union Omaha. I think this is just a reminder for the rest of the USL world that USL League 2 is still really good. I'm pretty sure League 2 Academy just went down and won the USL Academy Cup. So there's talent in these USL 2 teams. So don't discount them because there are some freaks sitting down there in those League 2. But I did pick Union Omaha. I didn't really trust what I saw out of Forward Madison. They looked fine. They played fine as well. But I don't know. I just don't believe. And then finally we have Richmond versus the Pinballs.
I think this is an interesting fixture. Both Richmond and Northern Colorado have to go on the road on April 6th for their cup game, which is actually a local, at least as local as they can get for both teams. Richmond playing Northern Virginia, Colorado Springs hosting Northern Colorado. But I just think with the league was really difficult on their scheduling for Northern Colorado not to give them an opening week match and to have to do a cup game against a very informed switchbacks teams in midweek and then make the cross-country trek to play Richmond in the same week is a really tall order. So I'm backing the Kickers to win.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with all of those things. Traveling within Colorado is on a map it looks, oh, that's not too bad for as like a Californian, but then you like put it into MapQuest and then you actually have to drive it and it's a lot. So even traveling within Colorado is going to be an interesting trek for them. I I think this Colorado team can be competitive. I just don't think they're going to be competitive right now against a Kickers team that looks pretty good. And plus, again, second week in a row, their throwback kits are legit. So I'm going to pick them again. I almost made them my lock, but I wasn't as confident. And I almost made Greenville my lock because Gio almost talked me into it. But I think Kickers can do it.
Yeah, I didn't want to bully you into it, but I did try to sneak it in. But I think Richmond's going to pull off a win. They haven't lost at home. I believe the last time they lost was the home opener last season, if I'm correct, against Greenville, which was an away goal when we were down to 10 men. So it wasn't pretty. Richmond is a hard team at home in northern Colorado. I don't think they're going to start off as hot as Fuego did. I think they're going to have some holes, and I think switchbacks are going to find them. And so they'll go into that game most likely with a loss. And Richmond's going to come out strong and have a point to prove against the new guys. So I think Richmond's going to pull this off. And it might be a close game, but I still pull for Richmond for this one.
Yeah, I mean, I think this Richmond team held on to a lot of pieces that maybe people thought they wouldn't this summer. Terzagi's like a good example. I know he's a little bit older, but like unbelievable scoring record, scored again in a, I mean, it is Tucson, but it's a dominant 4-0 win to start the season for Richmond. I think they start as they mean to go on. They've got a lot of really good pieces in that side, and I think they show their class over Northern Colorado.
Look, this one's my lock of the week, and it was not even close. Richmond quickly has shown to be the early class of the USL League One. And what, Gio? What do you have to say about it, pal?
Look, we'll
Richmond,
talk later.
Richmond came out swinging, and they're not going to stop. They look great. Their defense is awesome. I mean, come on, what more could you ask for? And this is, a new team all rolling out, and maybe a little bit of growing pains. And like Gio said, they do have a kangaroo, which is pretty sick. So that's my lock of the week. Stephen Payne for MVP. Mark it down. That's all of our predictions. Any parting USL thoughts before we wrap it up tonight? Cool. All right. What's final thoughts from everybody? Phil?
I am it is 10:15 p.m. here on the East Coast, and we are 15 minutes away from El Paso Locomotive kicking off against Central Valley Fuego. So I'm looking forward to USL Championship v League One after dark. So just praying to God that we don't fuck this up.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a fun game. I'm gonna stay up for a little while to watch it. But I'm really looking forward to the Open Cup. I'm glad it's back. My Atlanta United are still the champions till this day. But I hope. I really hope that a League One team can definitely make a run. It'll just make the league better. It'll be a just good for all the players involved. We've seen a lot of players make moves up, and I think this is a good way to show that and the quality that we have. So against these championship teams and so on, it's going to be a lot of fun. We need a USL Cup now.
For sure. Sir Alan.
It is 7:19 p.m. in San Diego, and I mean, I can watch this game and still be in bed by like 9:30, 10. So I think I'm gonna have one screen up with the Orange County match and the other screen with the Central Valley. I maybe just do halvesies on my computer. I'm excited. I know San Diego's super excited to get the Open Cup kicked off. This is the third season they played, and they've yet to play an Open Cup game. But unfortunately, it's going to cost people $35 to get in because that's what ASC San Diego's charging. But good on them, right? Like a team trying to make a bunch of money when they can. You can't fault them for that. So we go tomorrow night. I'm going to be excited to see my first Open Cup match in person. So like I'm also like personally stoked for this opportunity to witness U.S. soccer history in the making, the greatest cup competition that no one knows about. So I'm stoked.
Ryan Allen.
And I would say if we're talking about sporting events, you could stay up for it. Provides a perfect weekend this week for staying up for the Formula One Australian Grand Prix that starts at 1 a.m. 1 a.m. East Coast time, with the race being held in Melbourne. So if you want to have your Premier League in the morning, USL in the afternoon and evening, and then stay up late for Formula One early Sunday morning, that would be a pretty decent sports day. Plus, you have City Liverpool to look forward to on Sunday. So a full weekend of sports and sitting on the couch and watching it.
It's going to be a 0-0 draw. I'm going to hate every minute of it.
I'm just hoping Daniel Ricciardo can perform well.
Oh, man.
And draw. But win. But draw.
So I guess a couple things. The Open Cup is coming to Tuscaloosa, which is really exciting. I don't have to drive to Birmingham, so the stadium is literally walking distance from here. So I finally feel like a proper European person. So I can just walk to the grounds. So that's pretty cool. The biggest, my biggest takeaways, or my biggest thing, I had non-soccer related. I had 2 exams today. One of them went well. The other one, God help me. So I was like, I'm mad. I'm going to do something. So I went out and threw a baseball for the first time in like 2 years. Not going to lie. I'm just going to brag on myself. I'm kind of nasty. I'm not going to lie. So, hey, Birmingham Barons, if there's an injury crisis, I'm right here. I'm ready to go. I might top out at 75, but that's okay. You need me. So that's it for me.
I was going to say, who did you hit? Is that why you were nasty? I threw a baseball and I hit somebody?
There was a net that was stopping me from hitting somebody. There was a good chance there was a 5-year-old that might have been on the receiving end if the net wasn't there, but I broke off one good curveball and I felt like a god. So that's all that matters. So that's it for me. Any other words? Anything sitting on the mind? Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. And to everybody who is watching the podcast version of this, or listening to the podcast version of this, thank you so much for listening. It means the world to us. We have a lot of fun stuff. We got kit season coming out tomorrow. Thursday, we have another short show. It could be short. I don't know. And then Friday, we finally have away days. It is unfortunately me hosting it. So if you are tired of me, I don't blame you if you skip it. But please give it a watch. Away days is finally back, and hopefully we'll get back and getting more of those in circulation. So thank you everybody so much for watching and listening. And until Thursday or Tuesday, it's been the USL Show. Cue Alan's voice.
Thank you for watching another episode of the USL Show. This and every episode is brought to you by the Beautiful Game Network. Find podcasts and other written work at bgn.fm. Once again, thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you guys again next week.